You wake up, check the time, rush through the day, and collapse into bed, wondering where it all went. But here's the truth. It didn't go anywhere. Have you ever wondered where your mind spends most of its time? Not your body, your mind. Because if you pause for just a moment and observe your thoughts, you'll notice something strange. You're almost never here. You're either replaying something that's already gone or rehearsing something that hasn't yet arrived. You're reliving conversations, mistakes, moments you wish had gone differently. Or you're imagining what could happen next, what you should say, what you should do, what might go wrong. And in that endless loop, life quietly passes by, unnoticed. Most people don't live their lives. They remember them, or they anticipate them. But the actual living part, the part that happens now, is often missed completely. That's the trap you don't see, the illusion of time. We were taught that time is linear, past, present, future, a straight line moving forward. But in truth, that line only exists inside your mind. The past exists only as memory. The future exists only as imagination. And both are projections built from thought. The only thing that's ever real, the only thing that has ever been real, is this moment right now. But here's the catch. The mind doesn't know how to stay here. It constantly runs away from the present, chasing ghosts and predictions, creating an identity out of time. Think about it. Who are you when you stop referring to your past? Who are you without your stories, your achievements, your regrets? And who are you without the future you keep trying to reach, the person you think you should become? Most people panic at that question, because without past or future, the ego begins to dissolve. It feels like death. But in truth, that's not death, it's awakening. You see, time itself isn't the problem. It's our identification with it. We've built our entire sense of self around something that doesn't truly exist outside of thought. We say, I was, I will be, I should have been. But we almost never say, I am, and mean it. The result? We live in a constant state of mental absence, physically here, but psychologically elsewhere, always running, always seeking, always waiting for the next thing to finally make us feel complete. But nothing ever does, because completion doesn't live in tomorrow, it lives in now. The illusion of time keeps us trapped in guilt and anxiety. Guilt for what can't be changed, and anxiety for what hasn't even happened. And we've accepted that as normal. We call it being busy, motivated, ambitious. But maybe what we're really being is distracted. There's a silent truth underneath all of it. You're not trapped in time. You're trapped by your mind's idea of it. And until you see that, you'll keep running in circles, chasing past versions of yourself or future versions that never quite arrive. But if you can stop, even for a moment, and truly see where you are, the illusion begins to break. And for the first time, you start to experience what you've been missing all along, the timelessness of this moment. Because the present isn't just a place in time, it's freedom from it. Chapter 1. The mental prison of the past. Have you ever noticed how often your mind drags you backward? Not physically, of course, but into old memories, old mistakes, old versions of who you used to be. You replay a conversation from years ago, and suddenly you feel the same sting of embarrassment. You think about the person you lost, and your chest tightens like it just happened yesterday. It's as if the past isn't gone, it's still running you. The truth is, most people live more in memory than in reality.
Their bodies are here in the present, but their minds are locked inside a mental prison built out of what was. Every time you revisit an old version of yourself, your brain doesn't know it's just a memory, it relives it. The same emotions, the same stress chemicals, the same internal dialogue. You're not remembering, you're re-experiencing. And that's where the trap is. Because the more you revisit what hurt you, the more your identity fuses with it. You start to become your pain story, the person who failed, who was betrayed, who wasn't enough. And slowly, without realizing it, the past begins to define the boundaries of what you believe is possible now. That's why so many people can't move forward even when they want to. They're still spending their psychic energy keeping an old world alive, feeding ghosts that should have been released long ago. Think about it. How much of your day is spent in mental time travel, reliving what went wrong, rehearsing what you should have said, comparing your present self to a younger version that no longer exists? Every one of those moments drains energy from your life right now, and it's subtle. It feels like reflection, but it's really fixation. It feels like learning, but it's actually looping. You can't build a new chapter if your attention is glued to the previous one. You can't grow while constantly defending an identity you've outgrown. Here's the shift most people never make. Memory is not life, it's an echo. An echo has no substance of its own. It's sound bouncing off the walls of time. It feels real because you hear it, but it's already over. When you understand that, something changes. You stop arguing with what happened. You stop trying to rewrite it in your head. You start realizing that the only thing keeping the past alive is your constant visit to it. This is where freedom begins, not by erasing memories, but by seeing them for what they are, echoes, not evidence. You can't walk out of a mental prison until you realize the door was never locked. Chapter 2. The Anxiety of Tomorrow. If the past traps you in regret, the future traps you in fear. Most people don't realize how much of their life is spent in a world that hasn't even happened yet. Their minds are constantly scanning ahead, trying to predict, prepare, and protect against possibilities that may never exist. You wake up, and before your feet touch the ground, your brain is already running simulations. What if this goes wrong? What if they don't like me? What if I fail? It feels responsible, like you're staying one step ahead. But what's really happening is that you're living in a story your mind is inventing. You're reacting to a future that only exists in imagination. That's the quiet paradox of anxiety. It convinces you that thinking more will make you safer, when in reality, it only makes you more scared. The human mind craves control. It wants certainty. It wants to believe that if it can just think enough, plan enough, worry enough, it can force life into submission. But life doesn't work that way. Control is the most seductive illusion we have. You can plan your schedule, but you can't control the next thought that enters your head. You can prepare for a conversation, but you can't control how the other person feels when you speak. You can try to predict tomorrow, but the future will never unfold according to your script. And yet, the mind keeps trying. It keeps reaching forward as if the next thought might finally give it peace. But that peace never comes because you're searching for stability inside uncertainty itself. Think about it. When was the last time your anxiety actually changed the outcome? How many of the things you feared never happened? And even when something did go wrong, wasn't it usually not the thing you worried about most? The mind is terrible at predicting reality, but it's excellent at making you feel like it's doing something useful. That's why people stay trapped, because worry feels like work. It gives the illusion of control. You're not just sitting there powerless, you're preparing, but all you're really doing is rehearsing a fear that doesn't exist yet. Here's the hard truth. You can't think your way to safety. You can only be present enough to respond to what's real, not what's imagined. The moment you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you start to feel space again. Mental space, emotional space, and in that space, anxiety loses its fuel. The future doesn't need your worry to arrive. It will come whether you're ready or not. The question is, do you want to meet it drained and tense or calm and aware? Chapter 3. The present, the only real place. You've spent years moving between two worlds that don't exist, the memory of what was and the imagination of what might be. Both feel real because your mind makes them real. But when you step back, you realize neither the past nor the future has ever actually happened, except as thoughts. The present is the only real place you've ever lived. It's the space in which every experience, every sound, every breath, every heartbeat unfolds, and yet it's the one place most people almost never visit. You're either replaying what you can't change or rehearsing what you can't control. That's the default state of the human mind, always somewhere else. But here's the strange thing: when you finally stop chasing what's gone or what's next, something quiet begins to appear. It's not dramatic. It's not some mystical explosion of enlightenment. It's more like a returning, a soft awareness that life has been here all along, waiting for you to notice it. Presence isn't a skill to master, it's a recognition. It's realizing that the thoughts about life are not life itself. Life is happening in the gap between your thoughts, in the silence before your next worry, in the small pause between inhale and exhale. That gap, that stillness, is where everything real exists. When you're present, time dissolves. You stop measuring your life in what's missing and start feeling it in what is. Colors become sharper, sounds feel deeper, even the ordinary becomes extraordinary. It's not that your problems vanish, it's that your relationship with them changes. You stop being the character lost in the story and you become the observer, the awareness that watches it unfold. This is where true power lives, because from presence your actions are no longer driven by fear or regret. They come from clarity. You respond instead of react. You create instead of chase. Every great idea, every genuine act of love, every breakthrough moment has happened in the now. Not because the mind forced it, but because the mind got quiet enough for it to arise. You don't have to escape the mind to find peace. You just have to see it for what it is, a tool, not a master. When you stop living in the timelines your thoughts create, you begin to experience reality directly, raw, unfiltered, alive. This moment, the one you're in right now, is the only one that has ever existed or ever will. Everything else is commentary. And if you can start living here, fully, attentively, consciously, you'll realize you were never lost in time at all. You were just distracted. Chapter 4. Why the mind fears the now. If the present moment is where peace lives, why do we keep running from it? You'd think silence would feel like relief. No past to fix, no future to worry about, just now. And yet when you finally sit still, what happens? The mind starts to panic. It rushes to fill the space. It replays memories, invents scenarios, creates noise, anything to avoid the quiet. Why? Because the mind, or more precisely the ego, can't exist in the now. It survives through stories, who you were, who you might become, what you should be doing. Those stories all depend on time. When you're fully present, those timelines collapse. There's no "I used to be" and no "one day I will." There's only this raw experience without identity attached. To the ego, that's terrifying, because without its stories, it has nothing to hold on to. No reference point, no continuity, just awareness, silent, vast, impersonal. And so the mind resists presence, not because it's painful, but because it feels like death, the death of everything it thinks it is. You can test this. Try sitting still for even a few minutes without reaching for your phone, without doing anything. Within seconds, thoughts will rise like alarms. This is boring. You should be productive. You're wasting time. That's not truth. That's the ego defending itself. It needs movement, because in stillness it starts to disappear. The ego thrives on conflict and comparison. It feeds on me versus them, then versus now, what I have versus what I want. Take away time, and all of that collapses. No more past to be proud or ashamed of. No more future to prove yourself in. Just you here. And for most people, that level of simplicity feels unbearable because we've been taught to confuse activity with purpose, thought with identity, noise with life. Stillness feels uncomfortable only until you realize what's actually dying in that silence. Not you, but the false self that's been narrating your life. The ego isn't evil, it's just scared. It believes that without control, it will vanish. But awareness, the part of you that notices all this, doesn't vanish, it expands. The more you rest in presence, the more you see that you're not your thoughts about life. You're the consciousness experiencing them. And the more that awareness grows, the less the mind needs to protect itself with stories. The ego fears the now because the now reveals the truth. You were never the story. You were the space it appeared in. Chapter 5. Escaping the Illusion. You've seen how the past traps you in memory, you've seen how the future traps you in fear, and you've seen why the mind resists the present, because it can't control it. So how do you step out of that illusion? How do you actually live in the only real moment there is? Now. The first step isn't to fight your thoughts, it's to see them. Most people are lost in thinking without realizing it. They don't have thoughts. Thoughts have them. The moment you become aware that you're thinking, you've already taken a step out of the trance. That awareness, that small space between you and the thought, is freedom beginning. Start noticing your mind like you would watch clouds pass across the sky. Each one forms, drifts, and dissolves. You don't have to follow them. You don't have to believe every story they tell. This is awareness training, not mystical, but deeply psychological. You are learning to observe without identification, and in that observation, your inner noise begins to slow down. The second step, breathe consciously. Your breath is the body's way of calling you back to the moment. When your attention scatters into the past or future, just pause and notice one full breath. In, out, feel it, don't think it. That single act interrupts the loop of time and returns you to reality. The third step, slow your internal dialogue. Notice how much of your energy is spent narrating your life, judging, labeling, explaining. Every word your mind speaks to itself builds another layer of distance from what's real. Try speaking to yourself less and experiencing more. You'll start to sense the quiet that's been buried under all that mental commentary. And finally, detach identity from time. You are not the person who failed 5 years ago. You are not the person you hope to become 5 years from now. Those are just mental files, useful for reference, but not for identity. You exist only here, now, in this breath, in this experience. The more you practice awareness, breathing, slowing down, and detaching, the more the illusion of time starts to loosen its grip. You'll notice the gap widening between thought and awareness, between reaction and response, between you and the story of you. And that's where freedom lives. Ask yourself this: what if everything you're chasing is already here, but your mind is too busy remembering or anticipating to notice? What if peace isn't something you find in the future, but something you allow in the present? When you stop running from what is, life stops running from you. Clarity, creativity, connection, they've been waiting here the whole time. You were never trapped in time, you were just hypnotized by it. Now you can finally wake up. Chapter 6. The Rebirth of Presence. When you finally step out of the illusion of time, something subtle but powerful happens. It's not dramatic. There's no explosion of light or cosmic revelation. It's more like a deep exhale, a release you didn't know you'd been holding. The noise that once filled your mind starts to fade. You stop arguing with the past. You stop negotiating with the future. And in that quiet, a new kind of clarity appears. It's the clarity of being here. You begin to notice how much energy you used to spend chasing things that never even existed. The approval you hoped would make you enough. The future that was supposed to make you happy. The memories you thought defined you. All of it starts to lose weight because now you see it for what it was. Thought, not truth. Peace replaces urgency. You move slower, but somehow get more done. You speak less, but your words carry more weight. You stop reacting from fear and start responding from awareness. And for the first time, life begins to feel aligned, not because you're controlling it, but because you're finally flowing with it. You start to understand that time was never your enemy. It was just never meant to be your master. When you're lost in thought, time owns you. When you're present, time serves you. Moments expand. A simple conversation feels alive. You taste your food instead of rushing through it. You listen to someone, really listen, without waiting for your turn to speak. And in that simplicity, you discover a richness that no amount of chasing ever gave you. The rebirth of presence is not about escaping life. It's about finally entering it. It's seeing that every second is both fleeting and eternal, that every breath is a doorway into reality. You begin to realize that what you were searching for through achievement, through approval, through constant motion, it's been here all along, waiting in the stillness between your thoughts, waiting in the awareness that watches them come and go. You don't become someone new. You remember who you were before the mind convinced you to become someone else. This is what it means to wake up, to no longer be dragged by time, but to walk beside it, calm, aware, and free. And maybe that's the real purpose of this entire journey, not to control time, but to transcend its illusion. Because when you live fully in the present, you're not losing time, you're reclaiming life itself. The invitation. You've seen what happens when the mind lives in the past. Regret, guilt, replay. You've seen what happens when it escapes into the future. Anxiety, tension, constant reaching. And you've seen what it means to return, to step back into the only moment that's ever been real. So now the question isn't intellectual anymore. It's personal. Are you ready to stop living in mental reruns and future trailers and finally step into the only moment that ever truly exists? Because presence isn't an idea, it's a choice. It's not something you think your way into, it's something you practice, one moment at a time. Every time you catch your mind drifting into the past, you have a choice. Will you keep feeding that story, or will you come back here to the breath, to the feeling of being alive right now? Every time you find yourself worrying about what's next, you have another choice. Will you try to control what you can't predict, or will you let life unfold as it's meant to, meeting it with awareness instead of fear? This isn't about perfection, it's about presence. You will drift, you will forget, but that's okay. Every return to now is a small awakening. And the more you return, the more you remember that you were never lost. You were just distracted by thought. Presence isn't something distant or mystical. It's what's happening as you listen to these words. The air entering your lungs, the weight of your body where you sit, the awareness that's watching your thoughts appear and disappear. That's it. That's life. Right here, not later, not before. And if you begin living from that awareness, everything changes. You stop chasing peace and start being it. You stop waiting for clarity and start seeing it. Time no longer pulls you in every direction. It flows around you like a river, and you stand in the center, still and aware. The illusion of time isn't something you escape once. It's something you wake up from again and again, until waking up becomes your natural state. So here's the invitation. Don't just understand this, live it, test it. Notice how different your day feels when you actually inhabit it. And if you're ready to make that shift, if you're ready to stop existing in memory and anticipation and start living in presence, then write it below as your declaration, I choose now. Because the truth is simple, life doesn't wait. It's happening here, in this breath, in this heartbeat, in this single unrepeatable moment. And the moment you choose to live here, fully consciously awake, that's the moment you finally step out of time and back into your life.